And even if he did, he was so used to lying about raping underage children.
Oh, come on, let's go, let's go.
Everybody can see that we have many people who are mentally ill and living on the streets.
Where did you grow up, Tanya?
In the mountains of America. Yeah, that's the truth.
As I work with many of these folks, many of them you don't think have any family involved or any family that tried to help them, but it's actually quite the opposite.
So I kind of like being homeless.
Many of these folks have had families who tried for years or decades to try to get them help.
I can't speak when there are spies around.
They eventually just gave up.
That's pretty bad.
What you're left with is this person who is alone on the streets.
I said, well, why you that woman put that on my kid?
For homeless patients incapacitated by mental illness in Hawaii, years go by, and for many, nothing changes. Despite repeated offers of help, most continue to fall deeper into their sickness. Mental health advocates say a new law designed to improve access to care is now the reason most of those patients aren't getting treatment.
Fine, I think.
We see people who are very severely mentally impaired. Everyone thinks they're some expendable person in our society who nobody really cares about, but that's totally not true.
What happened to your leg?
I don't know.
There's 7 of us. I'm second eldest and she's second youngest. So I'd see her by Kmart, by 7-Eleven on Gillingham, and I would always stop by and, just see how she's doing, and it was never an eye contact. She would always look away from me.
Like they're spying on you.
It's an agonizing game of cat and mouse that's gone on since Jeannette Serikaku graduated high school. For 35 years, she's been lost in a disease that manipulates how she thinks, feels, and acts. Because of her paranoia, we filmed from a distance. Cheryl Sasaki says signs of her sister's sickness first appeared when she was just a girl.
I noticed when she was actually in intermediate, she was very passive and timid. I remember a lot of the time she was just always sad. I know she got teased a lot, and the friends were a hard thing for her to get.
As time passed, her condition manifested. Cheryl says doctors diagnosed Jeannette with bipolar disorder shortly after graduating from Kalani High School.
Our whole family went to see a state psychiatrist, Dr. Lunan. He said at the time, and it was probably in the 70s, that the state couldn't do anything because she's not hurting herself, she's not hurting anybody.
Mental health advocates say despite changes in the law, that same explanation has kept Jeannette trapped on the streets for close to 4 decades. Used to be the only way a person could be forced to take psychiatric medication in Hawaii was if they committed a crime or had a legal guardian. But in 2014, the legislature passed a law called Assisted Community Treatment. It allows the courts to order a person to take medication if they're proven to be an imminent danger to themselves or others. It's a threshold the majority of Hawaii's homeless suffering from mental illness don't reach.
When was the last time you seen a doctor?
For
Anything.
Dr. Chad Koyanagi heads up the Institute for Human Services Psychiatric Street Medicine team.
Try to feel how heavy this thing is.
He's the only psychiatrist in the state who goes into homeless camps to engage and treat patients.
Somebody could have put needles in my leg, in my sleep, because you see the markings.
Would you ever take psychiatric medications?
No, I won't. I'm not crazy enough.
He diagnosed the 56-year-old with schizophrenia.
People with schizophrenia can have auditory hallucinations or delusional thinking, believing people are trying to harm them. How are you, Jeannette?
The doctor's been trying to convince Jeannette to accept treatment since he first encountered her when he was still a student back in med school.
Want to do it?
I don't know. I gotta think it over.
Oh, she's probably the only person I can think of in my 20-plus year career that has not improved. Other people who have been untreated and homeless that long usually have ended up passing away.
Without ever knowing the other existed, a sister and a psychiatrist spent decades attempting to rescue Jeannette from the symptoms of her mental illness, but both were rendered powerless by the law. It's a story that plays out in one form or another every day in communities across Hawaii.
Do you need anything?
On sidewalks and at the bus stop, these are the faces of the lost. People who've slipped through the cracks of a broken system, held captive by a wicked disease that tricks them into believing they're okay.
A lot of people don't even realize that they're ill. They don't understand what circumstances they're living with.
Wrapped in a blanket stained with feces, Shatanya Tyler is a fixture at the bus stop outside Harris United Methodist Church.
How you doing today? Fine. What's going on?
Joining the street medicine team on this outreach is emergency room doctor and Lieutenant Governor Josh Green. He's here to see firsthand the law's impact on the ability to provide treatment.
You don't talk American Indian, non-Quincy. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Dr. Koyanagi diagnosed Shatanya with schizophrenia. They also believe she's suffering from severe sores on her legs that limit her ability to move.
Are you able to get up and walk?
Not yet, not yet.
The team's been visiting her every week for the past 8 months. Despite repeated offers of medication and other treatment, it's a concept that's never really sunken in.
One of the reasons that we wanted to meet you was because Dr. Chad is really great at helping people with their thoughts and helping them, you know, with
Scientists, FBI.
Normally folks don't accept treatment services in the street. Usually people just say, no, I'll be fine, I'll do it later.
May I listen to your lungs? Would that be okay?
Incapable of understanding or even ever truly communicating, it's blatantly obvious Shatanya is severely impaired, both physically and mentally.
Big deep breath. Awesome.
Yes, Ruth.
Deep breath.
That's it, sweetie. Deep breath.
But since she's adamant she's okay, there's nothing anyone can do because she's not suicidal or threatening to hurt anyone else.
Tanya, we will keep coming and offering help if you need, okay?
Appreciate it.
Right now the law is focused more on people's civil rights than protecting their access to treatment.
Because the medicine's helping, let's try to find you a small apartment.
On average, it takes a year's worth of these weekly visits to convince someone suffering from mental illness to start taking medication. In order to speed up the process, IHS is now backing a proposal at the state capitol that would expand the definition of what it means to be an imminent danger to self or others, making it legal to force treatment on people whose health status is so compromised that if nothing's done, they're at risk of serious medical illness or death.
I'll tell you one thing though, so I mean it's so bad, so I know you couldn't handle it, so you could have went along with it. I want to know you know what I was talking about for one.
It just makes your brain work a little bit better. Would you like to try it once to see if you felt better?
I said lay down, it's all take care of someone you didn't know what. He didn't lay down. One thing I want you to know is that to one. So just one, shut up, just one.
Is she capable of consenting? We'll try to help you the next time, okay?
Just like down, I give it a good one. And I wasn't sure if I get big one.
They're showing up in the ER with exaggerated wounds, large amounts of infection.
Can we see your leg, Uncle?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's skin graft here one time, huh?
Yeah.
And then we end up having to have them hospitalized and possibly amputations because of the degree that they're decomping in the community. This could be all avoided.
Since the assisted community treatment law went into effect in 2014, it's helped just 2 people a year.
It's incredible what is possible. And on the flip side, if we don't improve this program, we won't be able to get to the tough cases.
We can't just watch anymore. People just pretty much dying on the street. We need to be able to step forward and be bold about really doing something about this.
The medication they used to treat the mentally ill has greatly improved from what it used to be. A few decades ago, psychiatric medicine left many patients feeling drugged.
This medication comes in a shot now, which is called Invega Sustenna, or the newer generation of antipsychotic medications used for conditions like schizophrenia.
Dr. Koyanagi's gonna give you a shot.
Yeah, right here.
The injection is administered once a month.
I wouldn't mind living in my own apartment like I did before.
These medications are game changers in that they dramatically increase someone's functioning.
I tell you what, man, it's gonna really help me a lot. It's gonna be really nice if you do that for me.
Ben Tapara is diagnosed with schizophrenia and lived on the streets of Kapahulu for 10 years.
This is my 3 belongings I got right here.
You're gonna take it with you?
Correct.
2.5 months after his first injection,
Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Bye.
he moved into a shelter.
Hey, man. Hey, Brett, how you doing?
Now he's been living in his own apartment going on 2 years and has been reunited with his family.
Look at them. They're just full of life. I want to thank the people for helping me.
Ben's not alone. Since IHS launched its psychiatric street medicine program in 2017, it's been able to treat a total of 60 people. So far, 40 have gotten into housing. The other 20 are expected to be off the street in the next few months.
Saying prayers on.
You don't have to give up hope on people, that there is a way for people to find their way back, and in many cases, find their way back to their families.
For Jeannette Serikaku, it was chance that initiated an opportunity for change.
Hey, hello. How are you, Jeannette?
It wasn't until she was featured in the Hawaii News Now documentary Prescribing Hope back in 2017 that Cheryl Sasaki and Dr. Koyanagi finally crossed paths.
I was just kind of running in circles. I didn't know where to find the help, and when I saw Prescribing Hope on the television, it was like my missing link.
She immediately tracked down the doctor.
And he called me that night.
Dr. Koyanagi brought up the option of obtaining legal guardianship. Getting that court order would allow Cheryl to make healthcare decisions for her sister.
I said, you know, hell, I'm gone this far. I'm not going to give up. You know, if this is the only way, then this is going to be the only way.
Together, they worked through the process.
Well, it took a while. The courts didn't have rooms. You know, they do these court cases once a week.
Time is only part of it. The costs are staggering.
And it's almost $10,000.
Cheryl also needed Jeannette's permission.
During the course of this time, I had to talk to her, and I said, you know, I'm here for you. I'm going to help you. There's so much legal things nowadays, so I told her I'm going to go to court. We had to serve her papers, so I kind of just explained it to her. And then she signed it. I thought she was going to go off and say, you know, no.
It took 6 months for a judge to approve the petition, but after all the paperwork was in, Cheryl finally had the power to make a real difference in her sister's life. So she gave the doctor the go-ahead to start treatment.
gonna be okay, Jeannette. You know, maybe today's the day things change. You're gonna be all right.
With help from Honolulu police, the IHS street medicine team was able to have Jeannette admitted into Castle Medical Center.
Jeannette, I want to introduce you to my friend Alan. They're gonna help transport you to the hospital. You know, we're gonna walk through this process with you the whole way. You want to sit down?
I'm gonna go.
No, you're gonna go. You gotta come with us.
I don't want the hospital. I don't need the hospital. I didn't do nothing to myself. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Why are you putting me through this for, mister? I don't want to go. I said I want to stay here. I just want to stay here. Mister, I didn't see it.
There you go.
There you go. Jeannette, relax. Jeannette, relax. Relax.
Stop twisting. If you keep twisting, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Jeannette,
Let go.
Jeannette,
Sir,
Jeannette, just calm
I didn't
down.
ask for this treatment
I understand.
center. Then how come you keep doing it to me?
Because we care about your well-being.
No,
We're
you
worried
never
about
robbed me. That's why it's
you. We
going on.
don't want to
with
rob
me.
you.
This isn't a choice anymore, kid. You gotta come with us. Sir.
We gotta go.
What over here is gonna go with us? This stuff right there?
Hallelujah. I can't even feel nothing. Pick up my lid.
Jeannette, we need to know what's the rubbish and what's not.
I said to push it all the way to the hospital. I don't need you to touch my
What about this
Like,
one?
take this with you.
Yeah.
Just come with you. Okay.
Here, put this on that.
We knew it was going to be a painful, emotional experience for her, and we cringed when we had to do that because even though it's the right thing to do, at the moment, she's begging us not to take her to the ER.
The day he called me, he said, you know, we got her, and she's at Castle, and you know, it's like, boom, 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 and it was like so intense, like just a short period of time.
Of course, she didn't want to be there, was very resistant, didn't want to take medication, took some heavy encouragement for her to take the shots.
Jeannette was hospitalized for a week. In addition to psychiatric treatment, doctors cleaned and dressed severe wounds on both of her legs. After her release, she spent about a month at Tutu Burt's, a shelter for people who are medically frail.
Her kind of hostility went down, her ability to have a conversation increased, her hygiene increased, she became less fixated on collecting trash.
For more than a year and a half, Hawaii News Now documented Jeannette's journey from afar because of her paranoia with cameras. That also changed.
Yes, I feel more comfortable now.
We caught up with her on Alakea Street. She told us about spending time with her sister.
She makes me believe in the past.
And her plans to get a permanent place to stay.
I would rather be at the safe haven. There's a space I'm going to jump in as soon as possible.
Five days later,
Jeannette,
she moved in.
how are you today?
Fine.
Look so great.
After her first dose of schizophrenia medication, she was no longer resistant to taking the shot, even agreeing to come into a clinic. Something she had been against for decades.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
She smiled more often and began offering others a glimpse into who she really is.
You're a great conversationalist, I'm finding out.
She also showed ambition.
How's everything going on in your life?
Well, I'm hoping for the better.
Better, yeah? You're in housing now.
Eager to work in the kitchen at her new home, Safe Haven.
If they offered me a job during the daytime, I would help them cook.
Wow, awesome.
King Street, they go straight, yeah? Okay.
Now Jeannette's life includes standing dates with her sister. They meet up twice a week. She calls it cruising.
When there's a KFC,
Down there, that corner, yeah.
you need that. It's Jack in the Box.
Like a chicken sandwich meal deal.
They have.
Yeah. I'll pay my own. I have money.
This year has been an incredible year. Thankful to have Jeannette back in my life, in our whole family's life, actually. We go to eat lunch places. Before, she would just be in the car, and she ordered her own food, and she did her own purchase.
It's open.
On this day, they're headed to the park for a picnic.
She sings songs with me in the car. You know who sings the song?
Yeah, Taylor Dean.
Some old memories are also coming back.
And she remembers all the old eating places, but they're not around anymore.
Oh, there's a nice shaded table, yeah.
We sat it last time.
Not long ago, Cheryl had lost all hope that days like this would ever come. There are still times when not everything Jeannette says makes sense. It's to be expected in this stage of her recovery. Still, Cheryl is proud to say her sister has improved 1,000% compared to a year ago.
1,000% meaning she has medication, she has housing. Mentally wise, I think she's better. She smiles. She says, thank you. Starting to take care of herself too. It's good to see her back in society.
It took 35 years, but Jeannette is finally free. No longer a hostage of her paranoia, but a survivor who managed to escape the filth of the street. She'll tell you how.
Help is inside of that needle.